Have you ever found yourself sitting on a bus, watching the rain blur against the window, and imagining that you're the lead in a movie, where everything finally makes sense? It's a quiet, private feeling, like you're narrating your own life in real time, and it's something many of us do, more often than we might admit. Welcome, and I want to start by saying that if you've ever felt this way, this isn't a video about calling you out or judging the way you navigate your own mind. In fact, we're going to look at this idea from a place of warmth and shared experience, because there is something deeply human about wanting to feel like the center of our own stories. Lately, the internet has come up with a name for this: main character syndrome, and it's often used to poke fun at people who seem a bit too self-focused or who romanticize their daily lives. But I've been thinking lately that there might be something much deeper going on beneath the surface of those viral clips and jokes. This is the part most people miss. What we call main character syndrome might not be about ego at all, but rather a gentle, creative way that people protect themselves when the world feels a bit too big, too loud, or too indifferent. It's a way of staying grounded when everything else feels like it's slipping away. And today I want to unpack why we do this and how it serves as a kind of emotional buffer for the human heart. Sometimes life can feel like a series of random events that don't quite add up, and for many people, the only way to make it feel manageable is to view it through the lens of a story where they are the protagonist. Can feel like you're reclaiming your own meaning in a world that often treats individuals as just another face in the crowd. Think about those moments when you're walking down a city street with your headphones on and the music makes every person you pass feel like a background actor in your journey. Some people find that this doesn't come from a place of wanting to be better than others, but rather from a need to feel seen, even if the only person doing the seeing is themselves. It's an interesting reflection, because here is where the behavior starts to make sense as a defense mechanism. When we are going through something difficult, or when we feel like we have no control over our circumstances, viewing ourselves as a main character allows us to reframe our struggles as necessary plot points in a larger, more meaningful arc. It's the difference between feeling like you're failing and feeling like you're just in the middle of a challenging second act before the breakthrough happens. This kind of internal storytelling can be a way to survive the mundane or the painful, providing a sense of coherence that keeps us from feeling lost. People often describe a sense of being invisible in their jobs, their social circles, or even their families, and so they turn inward to create a world where their feelings and actions actually carry weight. This isn't about lacking empathy for others. Many people find that they can be deeply compassionate toward everyone else, while still needing to keep their own narrative seat at the head of the table in their own minds. It's a way of staying connected to yourself when external validation is nowhere to be found. And yet, the internet tends to mock this, viewing main character energy as a sign of being out of touch or narcissistic. But what if we looked at it as a way of being in touch with the only person we are guaranteed to spend every second of our lives with? We live in a time that is incredibly noisy, where we are constantly bombarded with the highlight reels of millions of other people, and that can make our own quiet, ordinary lives feel small and insignificant. In response, some people find themselves romanticizing the way they make their morning coffee or the way they look in the mirror before a difficult day. Not because they think they're a celebrity, but because it makes the act of existing feel a little more beautiful and a little more intentional. It's a buffer against the chaos. When you feel like the main character, you aren't just reacting to life. You are participating in it. There is a subtle, relatable comfort in narrating your own thoughts, imagining how you would describe this exact moment. If you were writing a book, it's a way of witnessing your own life, so that it doesn't just pass you by unnoticed. Some notice that this habit becomes even stronger during times of rejection or overwhelm. If a friend stops calling or a job doesn't work out, it's much easier to handle if you can tell yourself that this is just a plot twist or a growth arc, rather than a sign that you aren't good enough. It's a way of preserving your self-worth in a world that doesn't always go out of its way to protect it. Here's where it gets even more reflective. For many, centering themselves emotionally is actually a way to avoid disappearing entirely. When we feel overwhelmed by the needs of others or the demands of society, adopting a main character mindset can be a quiet act of rebellion. It's saying, my experience matters, and my perspective is the lens through which I see the world, and that is okay. It's an attempt to feel real and present in a life that can often feel fragmented. We don't have to call it a syndrome, and we don't have to see it as something that needs to be fixed. Instead, we can see it as a very creative, very human response to the complexity of being alive. It's a way of anchoring ourselves. For some, it might even be the only thing that keeps them from feeling like a ghost in their own story. As we navigate our days, it's worth considering that every person we see, the stranger on the train, the person behind the counter, is likely doing the exact same thing in their own head. They are their own protagonists, navigating their own plot twists, and trying to make sense of their own scenes. When we realize that everyone is the main character of their own internal movie, the world doesn't feel like a room full of egos. It feels like a collection of stories, all trying to find a way to be heard. Centering yourself in your own life is a natural part of the human experience. It's how we process emotions, how we plan for the future, and how we comfort ourselves when things go wrong. So, if you find yourself imagining the soundtrack to your walk home, or if you find comfort in thinking of your current struggles as a chapter in a long, beautiful book, know that you're just finding a way to stay present. You are making your life something that is yours to witness and yours to cherish. It isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about making sure that you don't lose yourself in the shuffle of everything else. This quiet attempt to feel real and meaningful is one of the most honest things we can do. It's a way of saying that even if no one else is watching, your life is worth narrating. It's a way of holding your own hand through the dark and the light alike. In the end, viewing yourself as the main character isn't a sign of vanity, but a sign of survival and self-coherence. It is a way of not disappearing in a world that is always asking us to be something else. It is the art of being the one person who truly knows your own story, from the first page to the current one, and deciding that it's a story worth telling. If this reflection resonated with you, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for being here.